This meeting is kind of a collaboration between the city managers and the county administrator. I want to thank Tim Gleason for his work, and Pam Reese back there, and Camille Rodriguez over here for putting this together for us. Also, State's Attorney Don Knapp is here, back there representing the county. I think I saw Brian Day for the city is here as well. I don't know if Jeff Jurgens is here or not. Anyway, thank you. We'll move on now. And we're going to have 3 presentations today. First one will be President Connie Mandula and CEO Charlie Moore, and the Chamber of Commerce will give a 20-minute presentation to us. Come on up. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Coos, Mayor Renner, and Chairman McIntyre, thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening to talk briefly about the work of the Chamber, and more specifically about the work of Compact. My name is Connie Mandula, and I'm the Chairman of the Board of Directors this year. I'd like to start this evening by recognizing other current members of our Board of Directors that are here with us tonight. Like you, these are the individuals dedicated to ensuring the Chamber has a relevant and successful program of work for the 1,000 member businesses and organizations that we represent. Will the members of the Chamber's Board of Directors who have joined us please stand or wave your hand to be recognized? Right now we have just a quick video we're going to play for you. From the video, you can see we truly are surrounded by advantages, and the power of the community is how we make our mark. The video asked, "Are you listening?" The question is for all of us, using the proverbial you. As for the Chamber, we listened, we got involved, and we are making our mark benefiting our members, partners, and leaders. In the next 15 minutes, you will hear from a diverse group of people who will be telling you how we've done this, specifically focusing on our workforce development efforts and our subsidiary, the McLean County Community Compact. First, I want to provide a brief overview of the Chamber. The Chamber is a 501c6 organization and doesn't receive public dollars for its operations or its program of work. The Chamber is a membership organization that serves over 1,000 businesses and organizations in McLean County and the surrounding area. That said, we're proud to have the town, the city, and the county as members of the Chamber. We focus our efforts on 4 pillars of strategy that drive the pace of our work. We promote commerce, advocate pro-business perspectives, collaborate to lead change, and engage in actions for results that strengthen the prosperity of the business community. On behalf of the McLean County Chamber of Commerce, we appreciate your leadership and want to thank you for your membership, as well as the municipal support Compact has previously received. We appreciate your future consideration and investment for workforce development, specifically through our subsidiary, the McLean County Community Compact, which is a standalone 501c3 subsidiary organization. To take us into how the Chamber started into this program of work and what our successes include, I'd like to introduce Charlie Moore, President, CEO of McLean County Chamber of Commerce.
Well, thank you, Connie, very much, and thank you all for the opportunity to be here. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon with you to visit about the work we're doing at the Chamber. Many of you, as I look around the room, were serving as an elected official when we had developed and launched the BN Advantage Economic Development and Marketing Strategy exactly 4 years ago this month. If you look in the rearview mirror, a lot has happened in Bloomington Normal in that time. There have been wins and fails. There have been fits and starts. And has there ever been a lot of meetings? But through all the changes, one thing has remained constant, and that is the unwavering passion we have for the success of the communities that we collectively represent. As we were fortunate to be the first organization to present tonight, I say that tongue-in-cheek, I'll be the first to attest that over the last several years, the Chamber has been proud to stand and serve with our BN Advantage partners, the Economic Development Council, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Regional Planning Commission, Illinois Regional Airport, and Connect Transit. Let me also give a warm welcome to the new EDC CEO, Patrick Hoban. We look forward to working with him and the BN team and his leadership in moving McLean County forward. If you would please help me welcome Patrick Hoban. As you have noted by our opening video, we're following a theme tonight. You heard Connie's proverbial, "Are you listening?" Now you're going to hear my proverbial, "Are you involved?" And my answer for the Chamber is with an unwavering yes. As prescribed by the BN Advantage strategy, the Chamber gladly accepted the opportunity to begin a focused effort in workforce development. With resolutions and financial investment from both municipalities in BN Advantage. For the Chamber, those funds were specifically allocated to workforce development. So our presentation this evening is focused solely on that effort. As many of you know, we were eager to engage in the collaborative effort to identify workforce issues and define workforce solutions. Our initial goals included, 1, improving communication and coordination between regional employers and educational and training institutions to better prepare talent and address skills needed by businesses. 2, achieve and sustain a strong business education partnership at the K-12 level. 3, increase private sector participation and support and mentorship programs for K-12 students. There were some significant successes from the start, and many people came around the table to engage in our effort. As we continued to have successes, we found lots of partners. We'll talk more about that later. But there are 2 specific partners that over time would be in the best interest of joint efforts to engage with our workforce effort merge. The first was BN STEM, initiative started and operated by the Economic Development Council. BN STEM still thrives today with many successes that we'll also cover shortly. The second was the McLean County Community Compact. With great energy behind some of the new workforce efforts under the leadership of Bob Miller, it was decided the Compact would officially merge with the Chamber's workforce efforts, and in March of 2018, a new subsidiary of the Chamber was formed, housing both BN STEM and the original Compact. Through a network of employers, educators, and community resources, Compact's mission is to grow a robust, diverse, and work-ready talent pipeline. We do that by strategically unifying and mobilizing community and external resources by enhancing the culture of sharing responsibility to maintain and enhance workforce development in McLean County. To tell you how our work in Compact has provided an advantage, it's my pleasure to introduce Tony Coletta, who's the Vice President of Human Resources at Advocate Broman, and also this year's Chairman for the McLean County Community Compact. Tony.
Thank you, Charlie. As Charlie mentioned, I'm Tony Coletta. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources from Advocate Broman Medical Center, an organization which employs approximately 2,000 people here in McLean County and in central Illinois. I also have the pleasure of serving as the McLean County Compact Chair. And I, as Connie did, I would like to take a moment to recognize the Compact board members who are in attendance today. Please wave to the audience. Thank you. To become an advantage for our community, we had to make some significant strides in the last 18 months. With your support, the Chamber and Compact have created a diversified volunteer board of directors who represent not only local business, but education and community organizations. We have hired a full-time workforce development manager, Jancy LaFollette, from whom you will hear in a few moments. And Jancy is dedicated to creating and synchronizing workforce development initiatives in McLean County. We have gained additional commitment and financial support from compact investors, including those listed on the slide you see here. These organizations and entities are dedicated to creating the McLean County workforce of the future, and we deeply appreciate their support. We are awarded a 60 by 25 network grant also, which focuses on college and career pathway endorsements on high school diplomas in the following areas: agriculture, information technology, and health sciences. This grant is part of the Post-Secondary and Workforce Readiness Act that is designed to help communities better transition students from high school into college and careers by giving them exposure to a combination of academics and experiential learning. If you're unfamiliar, 60 by 25 refers to a national goal of achieving 60% of adults having a valuable post-secondary credential by the year 2025, and we're well on our way. We have expanded engagement and connections with students and educators, employers, and the community through BN STEM efforts like the Classroom Connection Platform and The Loop. The Classroom Connection Platform is the online resource connecting educators, students, and employers to create experiential learning opportunities that help spark career interest and better prepare students for career paths. The Loop is a teacher professional development series where area teachers get immersed in area businesses and career paths, seeing how the concepts they teach translate to current and future careers in McLean County. We've also added the program Becoming BN. This is the summer internship support program that launched summer of 2019 and gave student interns in McLean County the opportunity to experience our wonderful county and why they should consider making this their career home. As you can see from the slide, Jessica provided us this quote here, and the program is already having an impact on our interns. We've also added Education to Employer Summits. This is a venue that brings together educators, employers, and the community into the workforce development conversation. The spring session we hosted focused on secondary education and was led by our area superintendents. Fall will focus on post-secondary education and is led by our post-secondary leaders. This will occur on October 17th, and you all have a postcard at your place setting which invites you to the session, and we hope you will consider joining us. Workforce 180 is a collaboration with United Way and others, and this program is developed to help members of our community who are unemployed or underemployed and who are working with our local social service agencies to receive integrated support to transition into viable career paths and employment opportunities, such as a certified nursing assistant path. We also have added a monthly electronic newsletter distributed to over 500 community partners, making them aware of all of our programming. And if you're not receiving this, this is our main vehicle for communication to our employers and others in the community. We encourage you to let us know, and we'd love to add you to that listserv. Finally, we have helped address the skills gap through the development and implementation of the Essential Workplace Skills Series in collaboration with Heartland Community College. And this is as a direct response to the 2016-2017 Employer Needs Survey that we conducted, which represented 144 organizations and approximately 40,000 employees throughout the county. You may have been exposed to this program at BN by the Numbers recently. However, if you are not, the Essential Workplace Skills Series is a set of 5 4-hour-long workshops that cover practicing professionalism at work, communicating effectively, using effective tools for decision-making and goal setting, navigating challenges and stressors, and understanding customer service essentials. Our next session is October 18th, Understanding Customer Service Essentials. As you can see, our portfolio of programming is diverse, and our intentional partnerships are vast. But we see this as an advantage, a collective impact for our community through collaborations with the Chamber and employers, learning institutions, and being able to leverage various resources wherever they exist throughout the community for the benefit of our county. Lynn will tell us more on the power of community. I'd like to welcome Lynn Hafley to the stage.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you all for having us here today to have this conversation. My name is Lynn Hafley, and I direct the Center for the Study of Education Policy in the College of Education here at ISU. Our center studies education issues and programs and does program evaluations from birth through the workforce. So this is right in our wheelhouse to look at that continuum of moving into the workforce from a very early age. The power of community, some people would use the phrase that you've heard before, it's all about the network, and it really is. We can see the proven power of community in a lot of what we've done. And many of you have also heard the term collective impact. And collective impact is when we're all pulling together and putting our resources together in a smart way to accomplish our goals. So some of the things that we have accomplished in the area of community is we've worked together to create what we call logic models, which guide our work towards our goals. This is an example of the overall compact logic model. Underneath this are dozens of others with more detail about what each entity does in order to make a contribution towards common goals. We also conducted Working for Workforce meetings throughout 2018 that started conversations about the community's impact on college and career readiness, the whole concept of talent pipeline development, and ways of collaborating in new and possibly more fruitful ways. We have engaged over 75 volunteers who are dedicated to assisting the growth of the talent pipeline. And a lot to be said. If you yourself are a volunteer and here tonight, you should give yourself a pat on the back because it's asking a lot. We've also connected with all the community or school districts in McLean County with the help of our Regional Office of Education. And our regional superintendent is here. Can you wave to us, Dr. John Tree? Thank you. And also the Bloomington Area Career Center, which serves many of our districts. Recently, we went through a strategic visioning process with our compact board, and that board, as I believe has been mentioned, represents industry, employers, institutions of higher education, K-12 education. And we have set some very focused goals: increasing employer and education collaborations, improving college and career readiness, equitable access to success for all, and increased talent attraction and retention. One thing I would draw attention to is that these goals are measurable. And one of our big pushes is a focus on impact. We want to be able to show where we've been and where we've gone. We plan to reach our goals through a set of activities. This is more or less an umbrella version. As I said, there's many more detailed activities, but one is to coordinate and refine workforce development efforts. We want to reduce silos. We want to reduce duplication. We also want to institute new programs as needed based on local needs, such as we learned through the employer survey that generated the Workforce Skills Program. We want to grow and maintain integrated networks across education, training, and employment that don't just come and go, but become long-standing and strong. And then we certainly want to apply research in order to track progress, inform our work, and report to all of you on impact. The workforce networks are diverse, and we wanted to show you an example of the kind of diversity that we represent. I'm not going to read all of these too, but you can see we are actually part of a statewide workforce development network. You saw the logo earlier, the 60 by 25 network, which is actually managed out of Northern Illinois University, but there are 16 communities across the state, and we share ideas with each other in terms of workforce development and talent attraction and retention. We have all of our county school districts, our higher ed institutions, our community service organizations, the EDC, and as you can see, the list goes on. And we'd certainly like the list to continue to grow. So the message is the power of community is strong. It is about the network. And we are better together in order to leave our mark. And Jancy will explain how 2020 is going to leave a mark for Compact.
Thank you, Lynn. We have some exciting activities planned for 2020 to expand our reach and truly leave our mark on McLean County. I am Jancy LaFollette, the Workforce and Compact Manager serving under the Chamber. As Lynn noted, we recently went through a strategic visioning process that is setting the stage for 2020 and beyond. Looking forward, we determined our 10-year target is to make McLean County a top-tier destination for growing, expanding, and relocating businesses by providing a robust, diverse, and work-ready talent pipeline. To get us there, we need to start here, through connections with local employers, our learning institutions, and by leveraging a diverse gamut of resources. In addition to maintaining our current portfolio of work in 2020, which Tony mentioned, we are also looking to implement a few projects that will set us up for success as we drive the pace forward. Our goals in 2020 are include creating a new employer survey to gauge the fluctuation from the last survey that Tony referenced, conducted a few years ago. Complete a community mapping project, which will identify the community partners and collaborators that are already established and how we can partner and where gaps exist. Increase brand awareness and marketing, developing a marketing and outreach plan, as well as the creation of a standalone interactive compact website. We plan to increase our impact by engaging volunteers, interns, and others with our portfolio of programming. We're going to dive deeper into our learning institutions and increasing our in-school connections with principals and counselors, while at the same time continuing to assess and identify skills gaps and how Compact can play a role through intentional collaborations to develop our talent pipeline. We plan to leave a mark in McLean County because we are listening, we are getting involved, and we see our advantages. We know the power of community. Charlie, I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out.
I know our time is wrapping up, and so we'll conclude, but as you can tell, this is truly a team sport. I'd like to reiterate what you've heard from our remarks so far. So from Connie, you heard, are you listening? The Chamber has listened, and while continuing to focus on the 4 PACE pillars, including promoting commerce, advocating business perspectives, collaborating to lead change, and engaging for action and results. From Tony, you heard, become an advantage. Compact has feverishly worked to help become an advantage through investment and engagement of both public and private sectors, as well as secondary and post-secondary education, with a myriad of actions and activities correlated to those goals. From Lynn, you heard, the power of community. We're increasing focus with our partners on the logic model, seeking measurable outcomes positively affecting our regional employer community. And from Jancy, you heard, leave your mark. We have a lofty set of goals for 2020 with a dedicated board and a team of volunteers ready to advance our work for both McLean County students and employers. So to wrap it all up, what's this mean to you? What does the impact have for you? Just last week, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal with this headline: workers are fleeing big cities for smaller ones and taking their jobs with them. Workers are fleeing big cities for smaller ones and taking their jobs with them. The points you've heard from us, are you listening? Are you involved? Power of community, become an advantage and leave your mark. This is for our entire community. This just isn't talking points for this evening. It is our time to capitalize on this movement, and that time is certainly now. Why? 1, the pending sale of the State Farm building in downtown Bloomington. This offers the potential to significantly increase the downtown population with an opportunity to reignite downtown development discussion with focus on private sector investment. 2, the rise of Rivian Automotive and the growth potential of innovation, technology, industrial science, and manufacturing. Not only the job creation, but the secondary businesses, startups, and entrepreneurship it will encourage. 3, the largest freshman class recruited to ISU in over 3 decades, with more than 70% coming from the Chicago market alone. We have a huge opportunity in our own backyard to sell Becoming BN to the graduating seniors and interns to start their careers right here. So according to this headline, we have an open invitation to recruit or attract the next generation of workers to our community. Working collaboratively with specific outcomes, we have every ability to not only meet their needs, but also the ability to work together to exceed them. Compact's mission can't be accomplished alone. It'll take the investment of time, the focus of dollars from all who are willing, rowing together to make McLean County a top-tier destination for growing, expanding, and relocating businesses by providing a robust, diverse, and work-ready local talent pipeline. One more time to reiterate. Thank you for the opportunity for the team and I to come and present on the work we're doing in Compact and Workforce Development, and I would invite the team to come back up here and answer questions that you have for us. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, do you facilitate or do you want me to facilitate?
It's just on.
It's on. They're just automatically on.
Yeah, everybody up there? Yep. Okay, good.
Yes,
Question?
my name is Jim Soldner. I represent the southeast part of McLean County. I'm one of 6 county board members that represent the rural part of the county. Sometimes we feel like we're kind of left out sometimes in some of the organizations that are in Bloomington Normal. So my question is, what kind of resources does the organization have for the smaller communities in the county?
So just to clarify, you're talking about the chamber in general?
Yes.
So there's a lot of things, Jim, and I appreciate the opportunity to answer that. You know, the Chamber has a diverse population of people that we serve, and you've heard Connie say over 1,000 members, not just in Bloomington Normal, but throughout the county. And so the biggest opportunity that we have is the ability to communicate, the ability to outreach and visit with those small municipalities and the businesses within those communities to ask what their needs are, to not only bring them into meetings in Bloomington Normal, but to go out and visit them in Bloomington Normal. I can attest that as the Chamber goes through a new strategic planning process, which we've just recently started, to have that better outreach is certainly a priority that we're talking about and focusing on. I do feel that we do reach out fairly routinely and regularly, but we do want to reach to those businesses who are looking for assistance. One of the best things that we can help do for those businesses in the outlying area is to help them intentionally connect. Where they are, they don't always have the opportunity to meet with people within Bloomington Normal. But online, taking people out to them, forging those connections and establishing relationships, that's something as an organization that we can do really well. But we also can serve as a referral partner. So when they're looking for resources or capital or business planning or what they need to help grow their businesses, they can utilize us to make sure that they're referred to a correct source to get them what they need. So really, it's establishing the communications and the relationships with those outlying businesses. So I live in one of the rural communities, and we've had an opportunity to see a lot of growth in that community, and it hasn't been by accident. There's been a lot of focused effort on what's happened in that downtown area. And so as we continue to forge forward, how can we make that happen and provide those opportunities collectively with all of our partners in those rural communities outside of Bloomington Normal proper?
I would just add on the workforce development front, we mentioned Mark Johntree earlier, we're very much the Regional Office of Education. Those schools are on our mind very much, and we're constantly working with that group through the BN STEM coordination to make sure there's outreach to those schools and that we're working with those schools as well to incorporate them into the programs that we offer.
I noticed that equity was one of the core values that was listed in one of the slides. So I'm curious about how you all are thinking about equity, defining equity, and how you are measuring progress in terms of these efforts.
Sure. Lynn, do you want to handle that?
Well, we know that equity doesn't mean everybody gets the exact same chance. It means that you calibrate your services to the needs of the individual person, if I'm saying that clearly enough. So we do feel that there are groups of people that need X, and there's groups that need Y, and some need X and Y, but it's going to be our job to try to gauge that, understand that, and provide that. And it's got to be different than one size fits all, which is what so much workforce development has been in the past, and so much education. I'm a former high school teacher, and I remember when we used to grade on a curve. No, that's not how we should be doing it. And so that's definitely a lens that we're trying to learn more how to do in the workforce arena.
Other questions?
So I would just, in response, I would say I highlighted the Workforce 180 program. We're working in collaboration with United Way, obviously with our lowest folks from a socioeconomic status in mind to make sure that they have access to viable career paths. And so we're really just getting started with that work, but our intent is to, we're initially working in the certified nursing assistant space, which connects social service agencies with the Heartland Essential Skills program that we referenced and some other support mechanisms, and also loads in some potential employment opportunities for those folks. So we are looking to create viable employment paths. As that program evolves, we'll likely have more ability to measure the impact, but that's a start to some of that work.
I want to add one more thing. One more thing too, so EWS, Essential Workplace Skills, you heard us talk about, we do have a set of employers who, for anyone who completes those series, will be guaranteed an interview. And so we're happy that as we put those series into place and we've had the pilot study, or the pilot phase go through, it officially launches now as of by the numbers this last week. But there are a growing list of employers who have committed to at least providing an interview to those who complete that series of modules. So there's a lot of different focused effort going on.
Thank you for sharing that.
Councilmember Black.
Thank you, and thank you guys for the presentation. As I watch the different components, it seems like there's a lot of moving pieces that are involved in each one of the pace you guys put up on the screen at the beginning. Walk me through some of the different models you guys have used. I assume it comes from other communities, some best practices you've seen. What are some communities that have done things and been successful with these types of programs?
Oh, sure. So this could take the rest of the 20 minutes.
Sorry.
And I won't do that. So we have looked at a lot of models across the country. And so Chambers of Commerce have really engaged in over the last 5 to 7 years in workforce development in specific. And so we've looked at a lot of models from communities that are growing, like Des Moines. It's bigger than us, but it's one that we looked at through the Being Advantage process. But Bowling Green, Kentucky, which we're taking a small group of people to visit in November on a very specific program they're doing for their 8th grade career fair. And then we're looking at something in Alabama as it relates to graduation rates employment rates for those who are going into industry rather than going into college after high school and making those connections. So there's a lot of different models that I could share with you that we've taken a look at. Then we have a whole nother level, which is the left side of my brain, which doesn't get used a whole lot from Lynn, from a logic modeling perspective, which is taking all the work that other organizations are already doing and bringing it together to make sure that we're intentionally working with each other and not against cross paths with each other. And so you heard Jancy talk a bit about asset mapping and really taking a look at everything that's going on within the community. And so that's the next steps too. But I can tell you that what we've built our work on came from initially the 3 goals I rattled off at the beginning, which came from the Being Advantage strategy. But it includes so much more now based on our inclusion not only of STEM but also of the McLean County Community Compact. So there are a variety of models I'd be happy to share with you at any point in time, but this isn't something that we just came up with on our own. We picked and chose communities that we thought were doing really good work and put them into a model that we thought would work well for the community that we're representing.
And if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like you're picking different types of communities, ones that are kind of growing, ones that might be in recession type approach, and trying to pick the best models from each of those.
Sure. So there's some of you who've gone with us to Greenville. There's some of you who went with us to Little Rock and to some other places, communities that we're looking to benchmark best practices. And so it's really taking a look at who's doing really well, especially as it relates to work that we're looking at. So when we're looking at the growth of vocational types of programming and how we're reintegrating that through the Bloomington Area Career Center, that's a huge step. Then looking at transitioning of university communities and how you're transitioning students into the community and growing that population. So at the end of the day, the big behemoth, I guess, if you will, from a 10-year perspective, is what are we doing in this effort to grow population and grow local GDP? So communities that have been successful in that effort and the work they're doing in workforce are those in which we're looking at.
The only other thing I would say about that is if you have suggestions for where we should be looking, please feel free to send them in.
Councilmember Lorenz.
Thank you. This is probably more of a comment than a question, but if you have something you want to add, any of you, please do. But the comment really is about the importance of workforce development in this community. I think we are going through a significant reformulation of our workforce, and that's particularly being driven by the changes going on at State Farm, for which we all need to embrace. And so as we bring in new entrants like Grant or like Rivian, they are looking for perhaps some very different skills than what the largely disproportionate amount of workforce that have been involved in this community with State Farm. So as that all starts to shift and move, I think workforce development is probably one of the most important priorities that we can put on to this community as a whole. With that said, my one concern would be how moving forward you see working with our Economic Development Council, particularly with new leadership, to make sure we don't have those silos that you're trying to make sure you work with. So that's my comment, and if there's anything you want to address after that, fine. My question and comment would probably apply to Mr. Hogan as well, so if you want to add something.
Absolutely. So part 1, yes. That was easy. But part 2, yes. And so, as Patrick gets in with the Economic Development Council and understands the role of ED and what they're looking at and their goals and activities and how that relates to the goals and activities of the chamber, but of course with our partners with the CVB and regional planning and all of us, as I mentioned at my conclusion, it is a team sport. So all of us have to be sitting at the table, having conversations. And so we looked at several models around the country where they coexist and who's responsible for what, and at what point the next group comes in, and then the next group comes in. But I can tell you that the conversation is alive and well, especially amongst the educational communities from our primary, secondary, and post-secondary, to have those conversations with us. So when we're taking a look at how we do all work together for building that pipeline, and places like Brant and Rivian have been very open with all of our educators, but they're also very open with us and what we can do to look at upskilling and on-the-job training and using our state of Illinois, DCEO, IDES resources for those opportunities as well. So kind of a long-winded answer, but yes and yes would be the short version.
Councilmember Boland. I'm sorry, Smith.
Now that you have 3 governmental bodies in the room together, could you tell us what we could be doing to make your jobs easier, to facilitate businesses wanting to come to the community and providing a package that would encourage businesses to be able to find the best location, whether it is in one city or the other or the county?
So my easy answer to that is I'm going to refer to Patrick, who's going to answer probably a lot of those questions more from an EDC perspective. So that's going to be my easy out. But I would suggest that more opportunities to do this. This is the second time in my almost 11 years at the Chamber that we've had all of our electeds sitting around the table in a room to have a very candid, open, frank conversation, and to have more of this where you can lay it on the table and we can have intentional, crucial conversations about what has to be done, where the players are listening, we're acting, we're reacting. That allows us the ability to be proactive instead of reactive. And so, I applaud the efforts of pulling today together and appreciate the opportunity, as I know my partners do as well. But importantly is to keep this dialogue going with very open questions so that we can address how do we work together without a division and with a circle all around us so we can have constant, consistent messaging internally and externally.
As a follow-up question to that, what advantages can you cite to prospects if we get into a competitive bidding war?
So again, that's going to be one of those I'm going to defer to Patrick because from an EDC perspective, we're going to look and work with them more closely after they've made the decision to come here or they're growing here versus they're looking to consider moving to Bloomington Normal. I have a whole lot of, I'd say, surface response to that, but it's not really, I think the EDC is the best organization to address that question.
We have 3 minutes left. Other questions very quickly? I'm sorry, Board Member Bullrep.
I'm just curious, you mentioned diversity in other communities in your conversation. I was just wondering how you reach out to disabled, other able members of the community to involve in your workforce development efforts.
Sure. So the conversation, the feedback that we get, I'll defer back to our initial employer survey. And so that's really where the most of our data comes from because we're really focused specifically on employers. And so those who are employed or those that they're going through interview processes with or with our employment agencies, they're the ones that are going to provide us with that feedback in specific. So at this point, we don't, I would say, have a method or a vehicle that's going out to the community as a whole. Our communication specifically goes out to the members, investors, and those who are engaged with the Chamber of Commerce. And so we would leave it up to the results that they provide us from their employees or prospective employees for us to make decisions off of.
Councilmember McCarthy.
Sure. Thank you guys for your report out and give us an update. And I've been on some of those benchmarking community trips and been a part of some of the myriad of pieces that you showed us on the board. And Charlie, you talked about kind of the 3 things, the communication with regional partners in education and mentorship programs and the like. And so there's been a lot of really good progress. BN STEM spun up and all the good workforce development that Tony's heading up and the like. But as you're looking for in the next 5, what's next or where's our biggest opportunities that you all see in the work that you're doing now in the upcoming 5-ish years or so?
That's my closing question.
Sorry.
So,
or 24 months.
So I'll take a go at it, and if anyone wants to follow up to it. So I'm very pleased that the Chamber is starting a new strategic planning process. that is new for us. And so it's an opportunity for us to redefine our core values and scrub all of our work against those. So in that process, we'll look at the 5-year and then the 10-year BHAG, if you will. And so as we forge forward, there'll be much more measurable outcomes. And so the response I say most of the time now is to what end? So if we do this, to what end? And so ultimately then, if we have the opportunity to come back and visit with you again this time next year, or another time in between, we can report back to you what that strategy looks like, what it is we're working on, what the board and the staff have identified as a 5-year, and we're taking input from anyone and everywhere. So it's not just a select group of people, we're taking as much information as we can. And then we'll come back and visit with you about what those metrics are and then what we need from a group like this to help us continue to forge forward. Anything else?
So I would just add, really, growth of the programs that we mentioned. I'll give you an example, the Career Connections platform. It would be our goal to have every employer in McLean County participating in that. Why? Because that creates experiential learning for students. And we know from those experiences that when a student has an experience like that, they form a connection. And if they form a connection, there's greater likelihood to remain. We'll retain that student here. Same concept with programs like Becoming BN. The more students we have engaged, we've heard this from our area educator career centers, right? Illinois State, Wesleyan, Heartland. If the students engage beyond their campus walls in an experience at an employer or in the faith community or whatever the case may be, if they form that connection, they stay. So that's really important work for us.
Thank you, that helps us. I think all of us electeds in the room know where kind of your focus is for growth and development. It helps us to help you.
Okay, we are out of time for now. We'll be moving into our next section. Thank you, Connie, Tony,